Podcast, where we bring the leaders and providers from our community, giving you the opportunity to learn from them about what has got them where they are today. Today I've got Jonathan McGee, husband, father, business owner, and overall just a stud. And I'm looking forward to chatting with him and just learning about what got him where he is today.
That's awesome. That's a great introduction.
Thank you, brother. Awesome, man. Dude, well, thanks for coming on.
I'm happy to be here.
Dude, I'm excited to hear a little bit more about your story. We go way back, but we kind of, fell off for a while because I moved away and you're just always busy hustling. And so, man, McGee Masonry, what gave you the passion to start that company?
So McGee Masonry is really just a carry on from my mentor's company, which is Harambe. Aaron Henning he took me under his wing real young age, started when I was 12. So I'm 20 years in the game now. I worked for him for 16 years, branched off 4.5 years ago, and started McGee Masonry. And so the whole thing behind this is restoration and reconciliation. So obviously we're a brick mason company, so restoration is what we do. But in that, I feel like, and my belief is around reconciliation, which is healing and fixing broken relationships and just mending them. So we're based in the West End. Obviously, there's a Del Mar divide, and there's a lot of kind of historical, racial stuff that goes on there. And so it was important to me, to my father. We moved into that neighborhood probably 25 years ago. I left for school and then came back, but it's always been kind of my stomping grounds and where I felt called to the people. So,
called to the people.
Yep.
I love that. Just a place of service.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful, man. And you're a father, got a daughter.
Yep.
How do you balance the work life? Because having a masonry company and having a family. You're always out here hustling. Not only that, you're a real estate investor. You own a bunch of properties. Yep. How do you balance all that?
So there's no such thing as balance. I love that people it's something, balance is like a way that you can kind of look at things, but you're always going to be tipping your scale one way or another. Like you got your emotional stuff, your spiritual stuff, your physical stuff, and you're not going to be perfectly balanced in all of them. It's impossible. And so you lack in some places, and then you overcompensate and you switch. Okay, well, let me get in my Bible. I need to Bible thump for a while, and then you're like, oh man, my business is suffering because I'm not paying enough attention to that. So let me go over here, and that's my balance. It's like running on each side of the scale, just trying to make sure we stay afloat.
Hustling, just trying to maintain the balance, right? Yeah.
So I would say in that, wisdom that I've learned, and this is, just from diving deeper into my faith, is learning that at the end of the day, you have a vision, but when you lean on God, He guides your steps. And when He guides your steps, you need to hold loosely to your vision because He's going to redirect you, where you're most valuable, and where your time is best spent. And when you really lean on Him, especially as building the business, so we're almost we're 5 years old in May 19th. And this is great. We've done $2 million in sales. We're, ripping and running. It's good. But I feel like for the first 4 years, I was, by my own brute strength and will, I was kind of forcing my company to be there. Like everything, if I wasn't there, there was no McGee Masonry. It just wasn't. My guys wouldn't show up. I had to carpool my guy. I was doing it all, and I wasn't leaning on God at all. And now that I have begun to do that, it gives me freedom of, okay, well, if I'm building my company for the glory of God, then I can relax because He got this.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be me all the time. Like, so it gives me the freedom to, it's 7:00. My wife made dinner. My daughter wants to see me. And it gives me the ability to turn it off. Say, hey, you know what? We can save that for tomorrow. And in that, that's my balance, right? Mm-hmm. I learn my balance through giving it to God, and He shows me.
Yeah. God maps out your goals for you, tells you what's important, tells you what's not important, and leaning loosely on things so He can direct your path. Dude, I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. That's a faith, right? I mean, that's really what faith is. It's trusting. Yeah. It's living without fear, right? And that's such powerful stuff that I feel like so many of us are not really intertwined with or take for granted, right? We just think it's a constant hustle that we got to go for 100% of the time, 100% of effort, right? With no chill, right? And sometimes God tells us to
drain.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You're going to exhaust yourself if it's just, seeing how far you on your own can go. You're fighting against a world that's way bigger and badder than you. But when you got somebody who's way bigger and badder than that on your side, it's like, oh, well, it does kind of eliminate fear. Not that stuff doesn't fear, but dude, I'm still a human. The nature of the beast is beyond me, man. There's a million things. It's construction, right? So there's a million things that can go wrong, right? Weather, everything. Like it's there, and you just got to work through it, and you got to be like, all right, I do not have control. Lord, take the wheel.
Sometimes it happens, and it's out of your control, right? Yeah, man. So what really helps you to, acknowledge that on a day-to-day basis? I mean, your faith is one thing, but like, what would you say maybe like your day-to-day routine, right, that keeps you focused?
So again, you can't get it right taking God out of it as far as I'm concerned. Wake up in the morning, read a scripture in Psalms. Psalms are uplifting. They're praises to God typically, right? Read some Psalms, lift my spirit. Next chapter, Proverbs. Proverbs is direction. It's a book of wisdom given to us, and it's going to tell you, well, if you want to be wise, this is what the wise do, and you need to stay away from the traps of life. Get those in my system, then I have a little motivational book I flip through, and it gives me some motivational speech at the end, because that's a little heartbreaking now that I know I gotta, and that kind of gets me going. I used to have better routines, wake up, go to the gym. Now that I have a kid, it's really, is she gonna sleep, tonight? Sometimes she's kicking me in the head, and dude, there's no sleep. I'm not waking up. Routines get messy when you have a 2-year-old, a 1.5-year-old. It gets messy. So getting back in that, as she gets older, as we're training her and getting her routine set up, me and mom are able to start our routines back. And so it's been a process.
Been a process, but you've been able to focus on your goals the whole time.
Yeah.
How's it been having a daughter?
Amazing. I mean, dude, the best thing that's happened to me by far, right? You got marriage and then your first kid. Well, I'm sure all your kids are equal blessings, right? Yeah. But that first kid is like, man, you don't know what you're getting into at all. Super nervous. Man, I almost closed down my business this was almost 2 years ago, right? My daughter's on the way. I'm 29, and I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm so nervous about being a dad. How much time do I need to devote? I'm working 80-hour weeks, so I know that's not going to work. So I scale down. I fire a couple guys. Hey, we just need to figure out how we're going to get through the rest of the summer. And, it ends out, it's actually, you naturally you build up the capacity to be able to juggle these things. And because my business, in a sense, was my first kid, right? It's a living entity to a degree, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I obviously don't love it nearly as much as my blood child, but it is something I built, and it's been uplifting. It's been great being able to, it was all an idea 6 years ago, and to see it changing people's lives currently, that's it. That's why I do it.
It's a blessing. Not just to you to be able to see it, for the people to get you blessed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So as far as your business structure, you said that Aaron kind of stepped you into giving you the motivation to start your business, right?
Yeah.
And when was that?
So that was About 5 years
Okay.
ago is when that all started to kind of take place. I mean, I'd been watching him run his company for 16 years at this point.
Okay.
And this kind of my 16th year. I'm sitting down having conversations with Aaron every month in frustration just because I'm 25 at this point, or 24. And I'm just like, man, I am ready to grow. This is like, am I going to be partner in this, or do I need to go elsewhere? Like, my vision is bigger than what I'm doing. I'm just laying brick at this point, and I knew that I had more in mind. I felt called to help more people. I wanted to help who I wanted to help, not just the people who I'm kind of stuck with and around. I wanted to be able to control more of those variables.
Mm-hmm. Control more of the variables from more of like a business ownership, being able to own that, business and having your own.
And that way I can choose the people who I love. And so it was conflict. Like, Aaron is he's a loving guy, dude. And he is very patient, and he's willing to work with people that, his patience is far beyond mine. I'm more like, all right, you don't want to grow, then it's time to go. That's more of my mindset, right? It's just, I lack that patience. I'm getting there to an extent, because it's all about, you get patience from being there. Mm-hmm. You see yourself in your guys, and that's where you love them at, right? That's why I love them, because that was me when I was 24. I used to do that stuff. And seeing that, recognizing that, walking them through it, hey, these are the mistakes that I made. I'm trying to divert you from that. And so I do that as best as possible. And when I see that maybe I'm not the guy to teach you that, maybe you need to go to Harambe, or you need,
Mm-hmm. There's another direction. Yeah. Another direction. How big is your crew right now?
7 guys.
7 guys.
Yep.
And that started with you and how many people?
It was just me.
You.
I was out there by myself. I was doing a lot of brick mailboxes and stuff like that for the first year. And then the next year I picked up 4 guys, and it was kind of, guys would come and go. I've had probably 30 guys in and out from our firm. So
what pushed you to a place where you said, okay, now is when I have to scale?
So honestly, that's just been within the year. So I took a course. It's called 10,000 Small Businesses. It's from Goldman Sachs. It's like a 4 to 6 month course. It's like a mini MBA program that you go through. And then once you graduate from that, they fly you out to New York. I actually go to New York in May. Then I pitch my company in front of the board of Goldman Sachs. If they like it, they can give us funding to continue to expand. But you build this growth plan. And so they had us write an 82-page paper on how we are going to grow. And these are all the things we're going to plug and play and make it actually happen. And so with that, at the beginning of this year, I only had 3, maybe 4 guys. Just onboarded 3 more guys, and my plan is to continue to kind of onboard guys. I got a couple different things going on now, because now we have a partnership with Job Corps, so we can get government students and place them in the field, and we have to, mentor them, train them, but they get field experience so that they can graduate, and we get cheaper labor, And so it's good. It's another full circle thing to where we're able to help mentor and bring up the next generation. It's just an important thing. But that's going to really help us scale, because if we like any of those Job Corps guys, we can immediately plug and play them and hire them and keep them on board.
That's sweet. Those Job Corps guys, is there anything from your past that really gives you like the ability to, really look into those guys and preach into their, current situations?
Yes, absolutely. So born and raised in the hood, right?
Yeah.
1100 Hodemont.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I grew up at, right? It was a rough neighborhood, 20 years ago. But so I'm rough around the edges, right? Been there, done that, been into a lot of stuff, and made it through. And God brought me through so I could look back and say, hey guys, that's not what you want. I promise you, been there, done that. There's another way. And to be able to let them see my success in life, right? So came from the hood. I was poor, dude. I didn't, our dads didn't make nothing coming up.
Nope.
There was no financial literacy in the house. Everything has just kind of, I'm blessed, but it's a lot of struggle that has taught me a lot of lessons, you know, and so just being able to kind of give that back to the guys.
Yeah, look at him as like a brother, man. I've been there, right? And that's not where you want to be, and there's a way out of that, right? How do you keep those guys motivated? I mean, that's not an easy thing to do.
It's not. So loving on them, man, holding them accountable, teaching them. It is a struggle. Motivation. Now, I'm not big on motivation because motivation is kind of short-lived, I think. I think it's really important to keep momentum going, though, because when you can be motivated to do a task, but how long into that task are you stay motivated? Kind of, it dies relatively quick. But to keep momentum going okay, well, how we keep momentum going is small wins all day long, right? Count them, dude. Don't just act like that's nothing. Like, dude, when you wake up and make your bed, win. You know, when you wake up, brush your teeth, that's a win. You add up those wins and you figure out, oh man, if I do this all day, bit by bit, I'm winning all day. That's how you keep momentum going, you know? And what you don't want to do is ruin momentum by coming on a job set all upset because such and such happened or this and that. You destroy all momentum. Guys want to go home. They're like, man, I don't want to work for an angry boss, you know? So you gotta check yourself before you deal with any of the people. People are the hardest part about business by far. And so kind of learning where people are at, what buttons to push and not to push, because you're not going to love me all the time, buddy. You're not. This ain't that. You're not. Yeah. It's keeping them on the edge of, I'm loving you, holding you accountable, right? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I mean, I pay business coaches personally to hold me accountable, right?
Yeah,
because everybody needs to be held accountable, right? No matter if you're the leader or you're the one being led, you need to be held accountable because things don't happen without accountability, whether if you're holding yourself accountable to get what you said you were going to get done, or if it's somebody else holding your hand and really helping you get that done. Yeah. But that's powerful stuff, really. Would you say that there's any guys that really have stuck out to you this year that you want to like shout out kind of? Like, dude, you're killing it on my team. I'm proud of you. Yeah,
so I got a guy who's been with me for the longest, John Bosco, man. He's been with me since the beginning. And the ups and downs that he's stuck out with me, I mean, the dude got honor, and I love that. That is kind of my big, when I see that in somebody, I really cling to them. That's what gets me hooked is, dude, I see your integrity. Dude, that's love. And I love you back for that, right? It's like, I want to help build you and cultivate you so that, dude, this could be yours or you could go start your own, man, whatever you want to do. So
I love that. Honor and integrity. What do those two things really mean to you?
Everything. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? I feel like, and it is frustrating, especially working with this younger Gen Z generation, man. They're different, man. I'm not used to that. I'm kind of old school, These guys, they want immediate gratification for everything. And, dude, especially in the construction industry, it don't work like that, buddy. If you ain't did 10 years, you're nobody. Like, dude, you got to put your time in and, earn your keep around here. So that's to keep guys around, it's a struggle. Yeah.
I mean, it's hot, it's sweaty. I mean, out there. I mean,
all the time.
I can only imagine. I mean, I used to cut grass, and I'm in 100-degree weather, right? And you're hustling, and you're out there moving and grooving, dude. But it's not easy, right?
So, but that's where that honor and integrity kick in, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you have honor, man, for a while you got to eat shit in order to get to the other side, man. You're gonna have to take it, and with the instant gratification, I mean, what I see from instant gratification is, dude, that ain't self-love. You have no self-control. Self-control is self-love. And I see that in them because I've been there. And that's where I can meet them and I love them, but it's a difficult thing. You can't teach honor and integrity, bro. It's either in you or it ain't. And that's one thing. And that's when I see it, I love it, man. And that's the culture that I have to build around me. And that's why I have to kind of weed out all these bad employees, because it's imperative to there's no way we can grow if people aren't going to stick it out. You know, as soon as stuff gets tough, you want to jump ship. We not making it across the ocean. Ain't no way. We all got to row, and the waves going to hit. You got to push through them, buddy. And I want somebody next to me who I know is going to keep rowing, not somebody who's going to jump ship and go try and get in the, you know, the little small boat and row off, you know. And that's happened to me. Been there, you know, and it sucks. And, you know, everybody has to learn their lessons. And it's just
holes in the boat. Don't want to have any holes in the boat.
The first 4 years, I'm duct taping every hole, just trying to hold it down. Like, dude, we got to stay afloat.
Some liquid nails, fill in the gaps.
Right.
Man, so what would you say, out of those past 4 years, all the different struggles that you went through in building your business, what would you say the number one thing that you had to overcome was?
Myself.
Okay.
Dude, it's not everybody else that's the problem. When you're looking at problems, you got to face it head on. And so listening to this guy, Andy Frisella, he calls me out all the time, you know? He's calling me out on, dude, are you the leader that you're supposed to be? Because if you are, then your guys should be following. If you're doing what's right. And it's like, man, my routine's all whack. I'm not holding myself to the same standard that I want my guy. I'm over here, man, first few years, dude, I still smoked weed. Hindered the company tremendously, man. Like, I was stuck. I'm like a worm when I smoke weed, dude. It's bad, and I've learned, dude, if I can't do that and be telling my guys, hey, you know, no smoking weed on the job site and doing all this stuff, you know, you gotta be sharp. And so in order to do that, you're the boss, you know? It starts with you, buddy. And so those are just hard lessons, man, that I was in my own way and learning to get out of my own way. And every year I just learn more and more, dude, I'm still the problem. And now I'm learning, like, well, how can I lead these guys if I'm not leading them with faith and love, right? You can't, dude. I'm the problem again. So now I got to redirect. And, dude, I've rebuilt my team 5 different times. And then we're just going on the 5th year. It's like, but it's good, too, because you got to create that culture that you want. This year, baby, it has to be what you want. Because I always told myself, when this stops being fun, I don't really want anything to do with this anymore. Like, I want this to be a fun thing where we love each other. We're going on guys trips, camping, Bible study. It's a culture that we feel a family connection. So
yeah, the leader leads by example.
Simple as that.
I love that. You make sure you're walking the walk before you can talk the talk, right?
Facts.
Yeah, I love that. So your goals for your company, the next you're 5 years in, 5 years from now, looking back, you're 10 years in, where are we?
So obviously a lot bigger. Again, loose grip on the vision, right? Because you don't know where God's going to take you. Success for me looks like building up the guys that I have into leaders so that we can expand. I want to be a multiplier. I want to, if I can create several more of me, that gives you guys the ability to have 7-guy crews, that gives me the ability to oversee everything, and then we could easily be at 28 guys in the next, you know? Very possible. So that's where I hope to be, but I hold a loose grip on that because, like, I also love there's a part of me that loves being in the field working side by side with them training, and that's going to remove me from that. And I'm going to have to put other people in that position, but I have to lift them up to get there. And it will be good because as I get older, I'm going to lose touch with these guys, right? They're going to be like, who's that old rich guy? He's always pulling up in that nice truck, man. You know, like they're not going to get the same connection as like, oh man, I remember when he was poor too. And I watched him build an empire, you know? So I got to give it to the younger guys so they can be like, oh man, yeah, I did. I remember when Bosco started and now he's the leader. And, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I remember we were drinking a glass of bourbon, smoking a cigar a few months back, and when I asked you, like, how's your business going? I was like, when I asked you that question, I was like, so like, why did you start your business? And it was a whole lot more than just masonry, right? Like masonry, you're like, dude, I love this. I love the art behind it. I love to build. I love to see my creation when it's done. But the main reason why I did this is to build up men. Right,
it's the people,
and to walk beside him, and I was like inspired when you said that, because it's what we need in our community. If you don't have strong men to build up other strong men, then we're stuck in a pattern that's just going to keep recycling itself. And it not only is it inspiring, but it's just the truth. You know, and to have somebody in the construction field doing that is life-changing to so many of these men that couldn't see themselves progressing, right? They see a couple felonies on their record, you know, and they all of a sudden think that they're just junk thrown in the trash, right? And that their life is over.
It's never over.
Never.
As long as you're breathing, dude, it's never over. You always got time to turn it around. Always.
I love that. I love that. There's never a situation that's going to be too much for you to overcome if you keep doing the right thing, or just start doing the right thing. Right. Exactly. I love that. Like, you know, now is the time to start. Right. You look back at it and you're like, I could have done that a few years ago.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Right.
Dude. I just built a fence in my yard. I had this raggedy chain link fence for years. I go out there, 2 weekends ago, I built it in 2 days. I got bids. Everybody's bidding me $10,000, $15,000 for this fence. I go out there and I build it by myself, dig every hole, right? Do all the posts, put all the, 2 days. 2 days. And I look back, I'm like, man, I did that. Like, what? Why didn't I do that 3-4 years ago? What was holding me back?
The fence analogy is kind of cracking me up, because I got a fence I got to build right now, and I keep putting it off.
Hey, dude, let me know, dude. I can't help. And I got a little bit of experience, dude. I would definitely go with the prefab panels, though. If you have flat ground, it will save you tremendous amount of time.
I've actually used those before. They come in those 8-foot sections. Yep. Yeah, those are sweet. I've built a couple of them in the houses I've owned.
Now, the measurements have to be perfect with that.
Yeah, so. I've messed it up before. I've messed it up before. Yes, sir. So, dude, when you're looking at, your family, right? Do you want to have more kids?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh man, the McGee army is forever growing, man. So definitely want more kids, but it's all in God's timing, right? Like my daughter, surprised to me, had a fun time in Cancun and came back, oh, got a baby on the way. That's fun. So it's probably not going to be my timing. It's going to be up to him whenever that happens. So
beautiful.
Look forward to it whenever it does come. Hopefully it's a son. I want somebody to take over the empire, but if it's my daughter, hey, take it. I don't know.
Hey, it could be. It could be. How about your wife? Is she, just super integrated in your business as well, and help supporting you throughout all that?
Supported me 100%. Like, dude, that's my spine.
That's awesome.
I can't function without her. She's helping. She's doing paperwork. She's, she really, when you're married to an entrepreneur, I'm sure your wife knows it too, dude. You're the secretary, whether you like it or not.
My wife is my secretary, yes.
And luckily, it works perfectly, because she worked as a secretary, executive administrator for a while, and so she already knows what's going on. So she kills it. And she keeps me on time to all my appointments, which is like,
we need that.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, man. And I said the same thing, man. My wife is like my backbone, right? She's like, Sam, you've got...
It's your accountability partner.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right?
It's great, man.
It's awesome, right? And it's humbling, too. And it's just the beauty of relationship.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. But, man, you keep going back to your faith, too. When do you think that you really started getting intertwined in your faith?
So that's a tricky one, man. That is a tricky one. I would probably say I'm seasonal. Let me be honest. And so I've had times where I've dived so deep into it. I'm on fire. I love the Lord. and then something happens, right? You lose somebody, or the business starts to fall apart, and then you lose sight of what's actually important. And there's been probably 3 or 4 times that I can actually pinpoint that, like, I have dedicated my life to Christ and completely fallen off. And so there's parables about this of where you sow your seeds, right? Mm-hmm. If you throw them on the concrete, dude, those seeds they're not going to take fruit, you know? And if you put them in the sand, they're going to get entangled by weeds. I'm not saying it word for word correctly, but there's but how I feel is I've been a seed that keeps getting thrown and choked out by the weeds, right? I'm in faith. I love it. I sprout, but then these weeds, they strangle me and they kill me, right? And they kill my spirit. And I've allowed that to happen, though, because I didn't keep my focus on the Lord. When the earth around me is shaking, dude, you're just supposed to focus, right? Mm-hmm. And I've failed at that. But as I mature, as I get older, now I can look back and reflect. And so I'm going through the Bible in a different way through the Bible study that we got going on. And this time I'm able to lock in, and I'm not letting go. I'm learning, dude, I've done this a couple times and I keep ending up in this crappy spot. I'm not letting go this time. Lord, hold me in your grips. And so the good thing, and what I love about it all, you know, is God never let go. I was always in his hand. Mm-hmm. He never let go. And so I love him for that. And it breaks me. Dude, I cry when I read the Bible, because it's like, dude, I've spit in your face. I've turned my back on you. I've hated you. And you still love me.
Yeah, open arms. Right? It's beautiful.
So that's why, dude, everything has to be attached to the glory.
Mm-hmm. Period. It does. It deserves it.
Yeah. It's
awesome, man. It's awesome. So that really holding your roots in place, and I really feel like, the accountability I have in my faith, right, and the guys that I have around me, the community I have around me now, is a big reason to why I personally have been able to stick in the stone for a little bit, yeah. Right? And because I was similar to that. I was rocking. I was back and forth. It was, okay, yeah, I know, the Bible, right, and God, and it's good, right?
It's like, it's not like we don't know this stuff.
Yeah, we are pastors' sons, and we grew up around it, right? And that faith really has to become your own, right? Absolutely. And if it doesn't become your own, then you're lost, and you're just playing a game and pretending.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Surrounding yourself by that community that's able to walk with you, but then, also pick you up when you start to falter, because everybody's going to start to falter in one way or another, and it's not going to look the same for everybody. And so having that community around you that knows you, right, and can pick you up when you start to come down, man, that's powerful.
Yeah,
that's powerful. I love the way you said that, dude. It's admirable, right? And you talking about your routine now, about how you start your day with the Bible, right? And I try to do that, right? I tried to do that.
I miss. I'm far from perfect, man.
Yeah.
But especially with this Bible study that I'm in, man, every morning my buddy Matt, he'll text us all scripture, just to, if we forgot to read a psalm, it's going to be in our group chat, right? And he's going to send us, he'll highlight kind of his favorite part with a little note, and that accountability right there, even if I don't wake up, because sometimes, you get into the death scroll when you wake up and, Instagram got 100 messages, let me scroll through this, and I'm on Instagram for an hour. Completely, my Bible's sitting right next to me. I'm just scrolling, looking at useless stuff, dude. Sometimes it's funny, whatever it may be, but useless, right? But then, bing, 8 a.m., get the text from Matt, verse of the day. It's like, holding us accountable, man. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So people like that, thank you, man. You guys are everything, for real. Having accountability partners, dude, it's going to take you to wherever you want to go, right?
Mm-hmm. So, and no matter what sector of life it's in, right? And I love that. And I feel like starting with faith, for me at least, kind of led me to where, okay, if I'm having accountability in my faith, I need to have accountability in other areas of my life as well.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh dude, that's why, dude, the beginning of wisdom is to fear God. But like everything is encompassed with that. When you begin with that, it'll give you dude, you can't misstep. You can't believe this and live your life however you want. That's not how it works. You got to live by these rules, and that's going to guide you throughout the day. And it makes everything easier, honestly. Because, dude, when you're living just out of your own strength, you make decisions that best suit you. But when you're making decisions that are faith-based, the answer is easy, right? It's not. There's not like should I steal this? Like, that's not even a question. That's like, dude, no. You got to stay focused, and it holds you accountable. And that's why you got to start with your faith, and then that's going to guide you to. You don't really, personally, I don't believe you don't truly love yourself until you dive into your faith and love the one that created you. How could you possibly love yourself if you don't love who created you? It doesn't even begin to make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
How can you love other people if you don't love yourself? Love is self-discipline. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love,
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if you begin with the wrong thing, you're going to screw everything else up.
Yeah, that's yep, pretty much, right?
Man,
if you begin with the wrong thing, you're gonna screw everything else up.
Yep.
Yeah,
dude. If you start laying a building, we lay brick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this, man, I love what we do because all this stuff, it all applies. You lay a brick. Let's say you lay a brick on level, right? The very first brick. Well, guess what? Every single brick on top of that is going to be a little crooked too.
But you just keep making it level as it goes up.
Yeah, you gotta get it straight from the jump. That's what I'm getting at.
But you keep making it level as it goes up, right? But if you're staying level, then you're straight.
You're good. Yeah. And sometimes you got to pick up some and redo it. You got to restart because the only way forward is to turn around. You can't go the right direction. If you start off going the wrong direction, what's the fastest way to the new direction? Dude, you got to turn around and go the right way. You can't just, let me kind of merge over. It don't work like that. Turn around. You're going the wrong way. You're supposed to be going the other way.
It starts with a firm foundation.
Absolutely.
Starts with a firm foundation. Man, well, thank you for coming on the podcast today, brother.
I appreciate it.
I had a blast. Man, Jonathan, letting us know that it starts with a firm foundation. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Sam, it's been good.
And looking forward to building our relationship and working together for the rest of, the foreseeable future.
For sure, man.
Sweet.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, brother.